You guys, I would just like everyone to know that Steph and I are together.
Yes.
And I have never witnessed the behind the scenes like actions of Zoom where she like presses record and does all the things. Like, so this is so exciting for me. Like I feel all dolled up.
you're like
I feel like I'm
teacher.
on a date, guys. Like I was getting ready. I took a shower. I dried my hair. I was like, how do you want me to do my hair? Like, what should I do? And she was like, I love your hair curled. And I was like, stop it.
Done.
I was playing Drake, having a drink, getting ready. I was like, oh my God.
Are we going out? Are we 21?
Are we
What's
dating?
happening?
I was so
Right.
excited. So today is a very special episode. I'm so excited. So Steph had on, I don't think it's our last episode, but Steph had somebody that she knew, and I love Leo. But then I had a thought and I was like, oh my gosh, let's interview Dee Hutch. So exciting. So I met Dee back when I was a teen and was super excited. I didn't know what he would become then. Had these interactions where he had his creativity out there and it was flowing and it was wonderful and you could witness it. But being able to see what he has become and what he has transitioned into, I was like, we have to have him on the podcast. I'm so excited. So excited. So I live in Racine and I feel like Dee is a hometown hero. Feel like that is like super cheeseball statement, but I love it because there's so many things that he does for our community and that he's involved in that are amazing. And I'm so excited to be able to bring that to everybody and then also discuss maybe some struggles or hardships that he faced. Not that and if he didn't, that's completely okay too, but just to be able to have this open discussion about his journey. So welcome, Dee.
Thank y'all for having me. This is super dope.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm so excited. Oh, this is gonna be so weird because I'm gonna be like, because I'm so not used to being right next to you, but I'm so excited. Oh, I haven't seen Steph in like 2 weeks. Anyways, okay. So Dee, I'm so happy that you're here. And I would love for you to just give like a brief introduction about yourself or how you introduce people, or how you introduce yourself to people and your crafts, your arts.
Okay. So my name is Dee Hutch. I'm a tattooist, a muralist. I do some like design and illustration work, but my main two gigs would be tattooing and murals.
Mhm.
And I also co-own a streetwear and vintage and sneaker shop in Racine called Root City with my
cool.
business Billy right now. So
It's so cool.
That's
I can't wait
awesome.
to talk about that later. But anyways, okay. So how did you even get into tattooing?
so got into tattooing. My father's a tattooist also. His name is Darren Hutcherson.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we're both Darren Hutcherson. Like my
Oh
full
wow.
name. But I got a middle name, he doesn't, and then we do the same thing, so it gets confusing.
Yeah.
You know, people say like, "Who did it?" Darren's like, which the
For
big one, or
sure.
bigger one, yeah. So, but yeah, so I got into tattooing through him. He was in the military. Started tattooing before he went in and made it a career after he got out, and that's when I was around like 12 or so. And they started going to shops all the time. That was like the coolest place to me at the time because it was still like not cool. Like it wasn't for kids. Like it's bikers and
Yep.
they smoke mad cigarettes. Like it wasn't it wasn't teen friendly, and it's just loud heavy metal music playing all the time. But I loved it. It felt comfortable for me. Yeah, kind of been in it since then.
That was amazing. And that's how I first met you. My friend Erin went and got her, she had a back piece done by your dad. And then I do remember that you would come in after school and you would pull out whatever, like a drawing, whether it was a sketchbook or a notebook or whatever you had, and you would draw with him while he was doing her piece. And I just thought that was so amazing, that connection, whether or not you realize that or not, but just being able to see that father-son connection. I don't feel like that's represented a lot just in general. And being able to share the same interests or hobbies and something that is so, to me, like organic, right? Like, I think it's one thing to be able to share interests and hobbies with parents that you have, whether it's sports or things like that, but something that's come so creatively of drawing and having this creativity and thinking up these different ideas. I think that's so amazing.
Does your dad still tattoo?
Yeah, he tattoos. So he owns the shop that I'm at right now, Black Hand Tattoo Gallery, but he moved almost a year ago now to Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
Is he okay?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's been like, the last few days been stressing about that. Luckily they're more inland, so it didn't hit them too hard.
Good.
Bad flooding and stuff, but it wasn't like the news.
Sure.
Good.
But I met a guy down there who franchises tattoo shops. So they got like 7 right now.
Wow.
And he pretty much set him up to open his own shop through that the franchisee, the business.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the one here and then have a shop down there.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Old as hell. No,
Don't do that to us because we're older than you, Dee. Don't do that to us.
In spirit, old soul.
Yes,
But
I
I'm
can see
33.
that. I can see that. But
Yeah.
government age, how old are you?
33.
Okay, well then I'm a fucking corpse. So thank you for that.
Corpse. No.
But it's one of those things, like, I grew up, all of my cousins were years and years older than me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I had kids young, so fatherhood was early for me. So like I always just felt older, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny when you were talking about growing up in the tattoo shop. My dad owned a pool hall.
Mhm.
So I too grew up in a place that was like cigarette smoking, like older guy. And everybody thought it was like biker gangs and shit. I'm like, it's really not though. Like, you know what I mean? So I can relate in a way.
Yeah, it was the shit. I mean, it was like, I just feel like I was doing something bad. Like you go home, you
Right?
got cigarettes in your clothes, like doing bad stuff.
I grew up on a city bus. My dad was a bus driver. Yay.
Oh.
No. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about fatherhood. Let's talk about that. How old are your kids? What are their names?
How many do you have? Because I have one and that's enough.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I got 2. I got a 13 and a 14-year-old. My daughter's my oldest. My son's a 13-year-old. I'm not having no more neither. It's not that they're any problem.
Right. It's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and I feel like I've just done so much. Like I'm at the teen years now.
Mhm.
Like my daughter's literally going to her 8th grade dance tomorrow. So we've been like buying, got the clothes, got the shoes, got to get her hair done tomorrow, and all the things that go along with having a teenage daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like if I have a baby now, like I haven't changed a diaper in a decade.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, it ain't it. So
Yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm absolutely not interested. Thank you.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I'm out the
That's
game.
by me.
Yeah, hung my jersey up a while ago.
Yeah. Yes. Accurate.
How did you get into doing the 2 creative aspects that you do, doing tattoos and muralists? I mean, I think that I'm assuming there was probably a lot of pull from watching your dad do what he does, but how did you make a name for yourself?
Yeah, I guess at the core of it would be me seeing him do artwork early on. So he was an airbrush artist.
Oh, cool.
So,
nice.
And like in the hood, like, you airbrush t-shirts and stuff like that. You do like backdrops for parties and people take pictures in front of them.
Mhm.
So that was my first time seeing like large scale work, being created.
Mhm.
And then from then on, he's done murals over the years. But I just always had infatuation with any type of, movie posters, billboards. I used to study like even cereal boxes, like whatever art that was like on a, I don't know, entertainment scale was dope to me.
Mhm.
I think I did my first mural when I was like 16 or 17 for a church. Wow. It was for a nursery at a church in Racine, and then just kept going from there.
What is the biggest mural to date that you've done?
Biggest one, I guess.
It doesn't, let me rephrase. Biggest doesn't have to mean size, but like biggest as importance to you.
Most important would be the one I did for Karan Butler at the gym over here on the South Side, at the Brace Center, and that would be, as far as importance, that's the biggest one. And I've done gyms in Milwaukee, so for scale, those would be the largest ones.
Sure.
But the one that was closest to home was the one for Karan, because I knew him since I was like 9 or 10 or something like that. Friend of the family, always super cool. So being able to like do something like that for somebody that was still alive was important for me.
That is amazing. That had to feel like a really big accomplishment.
Yeah, because it was, I guess that'd be like 6 years ago now. And at that point, I was still you just always trying to do what you can to get your name out there,
Sure.
do work that kind of means something to you, not just taking every job that comes through.
Mhm.
So I was blessed with that opportunity.
How has it been? Like what you just said reminds me a lot of like what we do as therapists too, of like there's a lot of jobs that come our way, but there is definitely that moment where we have to have that inner reflection of like, I'm not the best fit for this, nor do I necessarily want to do this, or this doesn't speak to my creativity. How do you set those boundaries?
No doubt. It's definitely a learning process.
Yeah.
Like it's constantly changing. Okay, so for tattooing, I've been tattooing about 11 years now.
Mhm.
So I got a better handle on what I like to do, what I excel at, what I'm not so good at, or what I
Sure.
don't like to do. So I guess it's pretty easy there to say no.
Sure.
Like in terms of like big lettering pieces, like you want a big old scripture or something, I ain't the dude. Like I get a shirt, like just get a shirt.
No, thank you. Sign me out. No, thanks. No,
Thank you.
not interested. I'm bored.
Right. And then, like certain things like tribal, tribal used to be a lot bigger than it is
I
now.
was
But
gonna say, do
still
people still get that?
I would hope not. I would
You'd
hope
be
that you turn that
surprised.
away.
Shut up.
You'd be surprised. They're never our age. Like
Okay.
it's generally like 50 and up, I guess.
No,
Like
sit down.
I'm embarrassed. They're
Sit
trying to
down.
relive 2002. I'm
Mm-mm.
embarrassed.
And
Sir, this is a midlife crisis. Call Mari and stuff.
type shit. I'm like, man, you missed the bus. Like
I
I was
mean, that shit was 20 years ago.
Yeah. They're
minute
not
ago.
coming back. They're not coming back for you.
No. It's not coming back around.
Ever.
Most things move like cyclically, but that ain't.
But that won't.
That won't.
Tribal will
I'll
not.
I'll stop it.
Neither
stop
will
it.
Chinese symbols. So please, everybody, exit.
I have both. Okay.
Yeah.
Knock it off. We're
2002. Okay.
we're
It's
covering
my
them
first
up.
tattoo.
We're covering them up immediately. Immediately now. I'm
And
telling
then,
you, I've seen what I need to see.
Right. And then as far as like saying no to other projects, I'm still learning. Like I really love like logo work,
Mhm.
graphic design stuff. Like at the time before I was doing all these different things, I had a lot of time to do illustrating.
Cool.
So that's still like a passion of mine. But I gotta be really realistic. I don't got time. I got 2 teenagers, 2 jobs, it's a lot. So I generally say no based off of how much time I think the thing will take.
Mhm. And you travel too, don't you, for tattooing?
Yeah, more so. Well, yeah, I've traveled for conventions.
Mhm.
The last trip I took was in April. I went to New York. So I love New York. I'm always going back and forth to there.
Cool.
That's it's close to my heart. But I tattooed at a place the last time I was there, not for a convention, just kind of guest spotting at a shop,
Sure.
and that was pretty cool.
Okay, I need to know because when I watch movies or shows that have like, for example, psychiatric hospitals, I'm like, that shit is not what the fuck it looks like. That is not how it goes. So do you ever watch like Ink Master?
I won't say hate. I'll say I'll say I just really don't rock with
You
that.
can say hate. You can say it. You
Yeah,
can say it.
What do you hate about it? Like just the fact that it's like glamorized like dramatics, or is it like the whole aspect
Everybody's
of
got a story.
it? Well, of course.
yeah, it's the dramatic side. I don't like no drama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't watch drama TV shows too much.
Too much.
I'm a young black tattoo artist in Racine. I got enough drama on my own.
I mean-
Like, I don't need shit attitude.
Period.
Yes.
But yeah, period. But it's like the fake like what's the dude? Dave Navarro?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that the
So he was
he played
the
guitar?
host. He was the host for the longest. They have a new season. I'm not gonna lie, I watch it because I like to watch the art, right?
Right.
The new host is from Good Charlotte.
No.
band?
No, shut down.
Joel Madden.
We're not doing pop punk.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
he's
So
the host, and I was
another
like,
musician.
how did you? Because you have tattoos. Sign me. I could be the motherfucking host. If
Yeah,
that's the
I have
case.
tattoos too. Everybody does.
What?
Right. And that's the craziest part. Like, how you gonna judge me when you play
When you don't do the
guitar
work.
and you got your tattoos are dog shit? Like, it's not
Yes,
even
yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what you gonna tell me? But yeah, and when I watch them, it is a lot of like kind of fast forward through it. But I love seeing the work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, it's really talented artists. there. Traveling, doing conventions, you'll see a lot of people from Ink Masters. Like
Sure.
we all kick it after the conventions and stuff. So I don't met plenty of them. A lot of them are cool. Some of them are, they got the Hollywood,
Oh God.
call
Bye.
it tattitude.
Bye.
They got like Hollywood tattitudes or whatever.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. We're all
Yeah.
artists. We're all just as good.
Right.
Goodbye.
Literally, yeah.
How stressful
so, yeah,
are conventions?
So what?
How stressful are conventions?
It's a decent amount of stress. You always forgetting something. I always at this point I know that something is going to go wrong. So it's kind of like being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like
Sure.
the Wi-Fi is going to be shitty or something. It's always something. But it's also a lot of fun,
Sure.
especially if you are making money and meeting people and stuff like that. You can learn a lot if you go in with the mindset of I want to learn and meet people and things like that. Then it's a lot of fun. But it took me a while to get used to so many people walking like 5 feet in front of you, and everybody's just like, like looking directly. Like as soon as I'm working, and as soon as I look up, somebody's already like,
what are you doing?
Hey,
what
yeah,
can you do me next? And you're like, there's a fucking list, bitch. Like
So
sign
close.
up.
Literally, and then depending on where your booth at, like you could be on a corner, so they'll be right over my shoulder type shit, and I'll look and I'm like, oh shit, what's up, man?
Can you back up? Thank you.
Right, a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good time. There's one happening right now in Milwaukee.
Oh, is it right now? Is it? Is
Yeah.
it Villain Arts?
See, that's the thing. They called it. It's usually Villain Arts ran, but this year they changed the name of it. So I don't know if Villain Arts is doing it or not. It's called like Tattoo Fest or something like that. But usually it's just the Milwaukee Tattoo Convention.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to go, and then I was like, well, Soph has games all weekend, so I was thinking about it, and I was like, let's get a tattoo.
Right.
Fuck it.
Right.
We briefly touched on this before we started recording, but I was saying how like people in the service industry, like nail techs and therapists and hairstylists and tattoo artists also get people who sit in their chair and just kind of word vomit all over you, right? Because sometimes you're there for like 6 hours at a time and you're like, let me tell you about my life. I want to tell you everything right now. So is that weird for you? Was it weird for you? Is it like something that you don't, not that you don't enjoy it about your job, but something that you're kind of like, I don't know. Are you comfortable with it, I guess?
Yeah, I've grown more comfortable over the years. Early on, for one, I was so young when I started. It's like you just listen. I ain't got nothing to give to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm a baby. I don't know.
Yeah, like they talking about they like third marriage, and I'm 21. Like my kid is 2. Like I didn't got nothing to tell you.
You were like, thank you. I will never.
Yeah. But yeah, over time, I've gotten more comfortable. I've always been like I would tout myself as a decent listener. Like I enjoy talking to people and listening. And I realize, at least at this point in my career, how much certain things are, this is a release for my client. You know what I mean? Been waiting 3-4 months to get in, so whatever shit been on their back every day, like this is their time to finally, get that off. So it ain't about me, it's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's service industry. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
Do they ask you a lot of questions?
Sometimes, not all the time. Every now and again, you get people. I also got to watch people sometimes too. Like,
yes.
Yeah, I've definitely like just being nice, thinking we're having a nice conversation, might have like overshare some stuff. And end up being like some nosy motherfucker that's gonna go to the bar and tell all your business now. But for the most part, my clients are really cool. Like we have formed relationships even.
That's amazing. It's nice to see. Well, I would assume it would be nice to see people through fruition for the projects that you start and then getting to see them through completion, but then also to like having return people and them having a vision for what you've already created and what you want, what they want added onto it and seeing what you can do. That's amazing. How do you set boundaries in some of those situations where maybe there are some extremely nosy people and those people who are trying to garner information from you, and it's like, back up,
Mhm.
please stop talking to me.
Right. I guess for me, I just generally kind of keep it short with answers or whatever. They're like, "Oh, so are you dating now? Who are you dating? Or what's
Oh,
the
That's
Lord.
not
you
your fucking
you
business.
still talk to this girl or what? All this different stuff." I'd be like, "Nah, not really. Yeah, no, I just be working really." So
I think that's the perfect
here and there,
answer.
politician answers basically. Like I
Yes,
just
yes.
very vague.
I'm just doing this. I'm doing
Yeah,
this.
they'll get sick of me after a while. Like they'll get tired of just hearing the same old shit. So it usually just works itself out.
Good, good. So over the past couple of years, there has been a lot of different things that our society has gone through, right? Like, so I live in Racine, Steph lives in Kenosha, being therapists, and Dee, you live in Racine.
Yep.
Okay,
Downtown.
so you and I live in the same place. Steph lives in Kenosha. So being therapists, I feel like over the past couple of years has been wild, right? There have been a lot of social, I feel like issues, is putting it lightly, that have
Mhm.
come up that have really impacted the way that we are therapists, the way that we show up, and just like our everyday life, right? Like when everything was going down in our state with Jacob Blake and everything that happened. I mean, Steph was watching her city that she's been born and raised in burn,
Mhm.
and being able to try to show up as therapists for people who were experiencing every sort of emotion that could have been happening in that moment. How did it feel for you as somebody who was experiencing that in that time?
Um, so it's a number of things.
Mhm.
So for me, I never felt like for example, I feel like this nation has like really terrible amnesia.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
I
please
was
be as
thinking,
real as possible. DB
yeah,
as
yeah,
real
yeah,
as possible, because I will jump on that bandwagon. It's not even a bandwagon, but I will co-sign everything that you say. Do it.
We go in. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay.
okay,
Go.
cool. So it's very easy to say, when things heated up, and all these shootings and things are going on, but that's just what it's been.
Yeah.
It's just what was more shown on the media, what was more
Mhm.
popularized on TV. And I feel like the American media kind of pick and chooses when they heat things up and get people
Mhm.
riled up and then, kind of cool it down. I always say follow where the money is. Like, where's the money going? Why is the shit so on TV now? Without sounding like a conspiracy theorist or nothing. Um, so when all that stuff was going on, it just reminded me of the 3 years before that, and
Mhm.
then it was 3 years before that.
Yes.
It's always been the same
Yes.
cycle. But it was a lot different because it was so close to home. It was in
Yes.
Kenosha.
Yeah.
Usually it's somewhere else, and we may protest or speak on or whatever here. Yeah, that was right down the street. Like I live downtown Racine, so
Mm-hmm.
that happened in Kenosha. So everything in
Mm-hmm.
downtown Kenosha also funneled this way.
Sure.
Yes.
So when we were doing our Kenosha's protests were it was a lot bigger than it was in Racine.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing was on fire, nothing was getting tore up like that.
Mhm.
But I still worked and lived downtown.
Mhm.
Yes.
So like for example, when they marched by the police station, I live right across the street from the police station. They tear gassed the crowd. But my window, you can see my crib. I got these big windows.
Mm-hmm.
Tear gas was coming through the windows. I wasn't even thinking about it. So I'm in here and I'm like, no, start running.
Oh my God. This is really hitting me, but like, why am I crying right now? Like,
Right. But it was a trip. But going back to what did it feel like, it was just very interesting. I was happy to see more true colors like being right in front of my face
Mhm.
for friends, for people that I just loosely knew,
Mhm.
fellow business owners.
Oh,
It was
yes.
a lot of people. So we call it funny time. There's a lot of people on funny time. Like it was, you know, very solid. It was a lot of goofy shit going on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 100%. Yes.
and like I said, I try not to judge nobody for what they do, but it was just more in front of your face.
Yeah. 100%. And I feel like I absolutely try to not judge people for what they have grown up with and what has been downloaded onto them and what they choose to subscribe to. But I also can protect my own peace and not choose to engage with you anymore and choose to set up boundaries that you will no longer be in my life or have access to me because all of the things that you've maybe said or done or whatever put out there have been disrespectful as fuck, and I refuse.
No doubt. Yeah. And I still, this is closer to the summertime now, but somebody wrote me. I went to school with her for pretty much all my life. And she hit me with the, did you unfollow me?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah. But it's like, I knew it was for something goofy. Like she did some type of goofy, posted some status or something. And I was like, oh no, you out of there.
Yep.
But it's like,
yes.
Yeah, but it's a minute ago now. So I'm like, I can't even remember exactly what you said, but I know you was on Funny Time. So yeah.
I don't subscribe to what you've decided to put on your social media. And by all means, you are absolutely allowed to put whatever you would like to or whatever speaks to you. But then I'm also allowed to have the boundary that I don't have to have, I don't have to be subjected to that. Like, I don't want to watch that. So absolutely, I unfollowed you.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't fuck with you like that no more.
No, not at all. No, thanks.
So, but yeah, being downtown, there's definitely times where there was fear, and now with me being a business owner of two different places downtown, it's like it's fear on both ends. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what is the law enforcement side on more edge now. Is people around here, but then it's the protest. I don't know if it's gonna get violent. You ain't gonna fuck up my shit. So
no, sure.
I'm still downtown, but I don't know. I wasn't really. I never felt too worried about nothing getting like tore up like that.
Sure.
I don't know. To have I guess for me, I feel like with being in the community already, I didn't have to put nothing on the windows. Like I didn't have to put up a Black Lives Matter or
sure.
Don't tear our shit up sign. Like it's
yeah. Please don't fuck my shit up. Thank you. I love you. I support everyone. Thanks.
Yeah. They already know this is my shit. Like I'm not, it only be hurting everybody if you tear up our own shit. So
100%.
How did COVID impact your shop?
COVID sucked it. I mean, COVID was bad.
It sure did.
Yeah. I lost both my jobs.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when it hit, I remember exactly how this shit happened. It was St. Patty's Day. That was like the last big, whatever event.
Yep.
And everybody kind of knew about COVID, but we didn't know it was gonna get shut down like that.
Yeah.
And then like that next, I think it was on Saturday. So that Monday they were like, oh yeah, no, everything's shut down. You can't go outside.
No. Don't breathe.
Literally. And my kids were here with me. Of course, school got shut down. And like 2 weeks later, or like a week later, their mom got COVID.
Oh,
and I was at the time like, you don't know what it was.
Yeah. Right. It was terrifying.
Right. Like, is it a death sentence? Like,
yeah.
So the quarantine was mad long for her. And then her husband got it. So then they had to go through a whole nother quarantine. And then they were still working their jobs. And like I said, I wasn't. So the kids were just here. And then we went through the online school. I had to go get the laptops.
Worst experience of my fucking life.
Man.
It was. I've never yelled so much in my life. And I was like, Mari, you're your dad right now. I'm my dad.
Like our kids were my kid was in first, her kid was in second. Like that was the worst fucking school year ever.
Pure hell.
Oh yeah, y'all a little kid. Yeah.
Yes.
That's tough. And then mine, would it be 2 years ago? So it was like 6 and 7 or fifth and sixth, whatever grade. But yeah, it was like I wasn't that smart the first time around, like when I was in school. So like they're looking at me for help. And I'm like, 1 second, I'm on the phone, like, yeah.
Let me Google what this means. Because don't ask me to do math with you. Stop.
Word, yeah. It was a trip. But it was a weird like gift and a curse in it, because with me working so much over these last few years, I always have like that scarcity mindset. I don't want to not have enough, or make sure they got this. Taking all these jobs, just being a workaholic.
Yeah.
I couldn't work at all. And that gave me family time, like just unsolicited family time. We didn't have nowhere to go. It wasn't no appointment to do or shit to do.
Yep.
So we got to just watch movies, bond, draw. We made art projects. Like,
That's
it's like the best time that we could ever have and the worst time that we could
Yes,
ever have.
literally so many ambivalent feelings.
And then they
Yes.
saw me working. So what I ended up doing was taking up a lot more jobs, like design work.
Mhm.
And I was paintings and doing them as raffles. So it'd be like, you know, whatever $20 spot, but I'm doing legitimate paintings, which would,
Yeah.
you know, cost you $800-900 regularly, but you can win this painting for $20 now. And doing those is what I paid the rent with.
That is amazing that you were
Mhm.
able to figure that out. How did it, like, I feel like we had a very big moment where we were humbled in that of like how you were talking about that scarcity mindset. Steph and I definitely, I feel like, operate in that a lot, probably month to month, because being your own business owner, it's like, okay, I got to see so many clients. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And it's always been a struggle for us to balance that. How do you feel like you balance that with being able to, well, let me just end it there. How do you feel like you balance that?
Man, doing my best, shit. 'Cause it's not easy. Even just now, like today, so at the store at Root City, we're trying to do renovations. We were hoping to get some of these grants, but we didn't get whatever stuff accepted. So we was like, fuck it, we just put the money up and do the shit ourselves. Which seemed like a good idea on the front end, but for example, we painted our ceiling. Between yesterday and today, I ain't got no experience painting ceilings. Like,
Yeah, it's awful.
yeah, I'll paint a wall or some shit you can put on a wall, but not up there. Like, I ain't Michelangelo. The fuck, like, I'm not gonna paint the ceiling. So it took so much longer than it should have. And I had some consultations today. I had a possible appointment. They knew what the situation was with the stuff at the store.
Sure.
Couldn't even do it when I got the kids from Milwaukee. Of course, we're doing the podcast now. Our kids live half the time in Milwaukee and half the time here. So I'm on 4. So going back to balance, like, yeah, a lot of times I'm kind of making it by the seat of my pants for the most part. But just making sure that their time when they're not in school, like that comes first. So whatever sports, whatever, just really appreciating free time in general. Like, just being present, you know. Don't always got to be doing something, but at least we just chilling. We talk shit. My kids are older, like they're like me. They funny, so we talk shit, crack jokes, you know. And they understand when I got to start drawing up my stuff for you know, Monday appointment, whatever it is.
That's awesome.
Good. That was so gentle.
Well, I'm trying not to make
You're like,
I don't want to like
typically she's like,
I'm like, that's different. My mic is different.
It's so dainty.
Can I ask you guys questions?
Yeah.
How do you feel that?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you handle
we balance?
Yeah.
Oh, So you want to go?
I was gonna say my boundaries are a little different than Mari's. So I do not work Fridays. Like I have taken off Fridays for as long as like probably 2 years at least. Because like when you talk all day for a living, you just need a day to not talk because it's a lot. So I don't work on Fridays. I try really hard not to have a lot of evening sessions when my kid is at home because I do a lot of virtual stuff. So he's at home with me. But I think trying to find a balance as a single mom, business owner, and working for another place can prove to be very difficult. Like my weekends are kind of like sacred for me, where I try not to do anything work related. I don't count podcast recording as work because that's when I get to see her and I'm excited. But I think finding balance, period, is very difficult.
Yeah.
Not impossible. It just takes work.
For sure.
Mari will work till the fucking wheels fall off. She doesn't give a fuck.
So Steph and I are a bit different. And I feel like, not to get like hippie, but I feel like our astrology signs speak to ourselves. I am a Gemini through and through. I'm a May Gemini.
Both.
I'm a May Gemini. Are you a June Gemini or May Gemini?
June Gemini.
We're different. We're different. I love you, but we're different. We're different people. But we still have that same yin and yang, right? Like I love being around people. I love learning people's stories. I love working. My mom and my dad are both extremely hard workers. And that is, I mean, my dad taught me like two things and not for his own fault, but taught me two things: that your work ethic is super important and that your credit score is important. So like that's what he left me with. I was like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
What about like feelings? And he was like,
Yeah.
You don't need those. And I was like, I'm gonna be a therapist.
Right.
So I love doing what I do, and I love to stack the beginning of my week really, really heavy. I do wake up early and I work out. And if I don't work out in the morning, at least that morning is set time for myself where I do my goals and gratitudes and I have my coffee, because coffee is life and I love it so much. It literally brings me so much joy. But like I
Yeah.
have that time set to myself so that I give myself the best part of me before I give to other people. I don't give myself scraps anymore. I definitely did that before. And our podcast, we talk a lot about different experiences that we've had. We have very similar lives, and we both were married at one point, both in marriages that were like not so great. And so we left them. But I think that we both can resonate with that I spent so much time of my life giving to other people that I refuse to fucking do that anymore. And so my boundaries are 100% so important. And I don't give a fuck if they don't make other people comfortable. That's not the purpose of boundaries. The purpose of boundaries is to make myself comfortable and safe, and where I can love myself and you at the same distance and at a safe distance. So I think that is such a huge thing that her and I both resonate with, that we want to preach to people, is that it's not rude to set boundaries. It's not mean to say that I need time for myself. It's not selfish. It's not any of these things. It's detrimental. It is so important to your health to be able to say, I'm not doing that, or no. Like one of our podcast episodes is no is a complete sentence, because I don't need to give anybody a reason as to why I don't want to fucking do something. It's no, it
Took me a
doesn't
while
serve
to
a
learn
purpose
that.
for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me a long time to understand that. Like I'll constantly catch myself, you say the no and I'm explaining why, like, oh, because I got this going on, that going on. And then a lot of times with a client or whatever it may be, it'll turn into like them trying to find an ultimatum, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, what if, blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
if I really going back to scarcity mindset in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, I could use the money.
I was
I know,
just gonna
I
say that, because
know,
I was
I
like,
know.
then there's this part of you that's like, well, I do need the money, but then it's like, but is it worth compromising
No.
what I said I wasn't
And
gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
I resonate with that so much, and that I hope that sound comes back as being no, it's not worth it. No, no amount of money is worth me compromising my boundaries and making myself uncomfortable for any X amount of time because it's going to please somebody else. I'm not put on this earth to make any of these people feel better. If my craft, my creativity speaks to people, oh, amazing. And I love that. But that is not my sole purpose on this earth, is to make somebody else happy. That's their own fucking job. So no.
Yeah. No, period. That's the
Period.
least sentence, like you said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All learning process.
Yes.
Mm.
And it is. And there are certain people that get me, like, don't get me wrong. There's certain clients where I'm like, no, nope, boundary. And then there's certain clients where I've had for forever. And there's this just like little soft spot where I'm like, oh. So it's always a work in progress, which is what I tell clients, right? Like life is a roller coaster, and it's meant to be like that. It ebbs and flows. The highs because you've had lows, the lows because you've been able to experience highs. It's not meant to be this like, when is the other shoe going to drop? It's meant to just be that there is this journey and path that you're going to go on, and just accept everything as it's happening to you, versus like, you don't have to internalize it. You can say like, okay, this is something that I'm experiencing, but you don't have to say, okay, this is me. Like, for example, like how we tell clients, like when they're experiencing anxiety, like, okay, I'm experiencing that, but it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm so anxious. Like, you don't have to adapt to that or accept it, I guess is the better word.
I feel that. Another point you brought up too was like how you fill your cup on your own time. You talk about like working out before you go to work.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge thing for myself that I neglected for a lot of years. I was always into like, I played sports and, was into fitness and stuff like that. But until I made it almost like a prescription every
It is
day.
a non-negotiable.
Yep.
Non-negotiable. Yep, exactly.
Yes.
I had to get up and get it. And then seeing how much it controlled everything else around my day, just like I like weightlifting. So just dealing with resistance early on, and then like the rest of the resistance in a day is different because you're looking at it from a different perspective,
Yeah.
you know. The eating too.
Yes.
Like I grew up kicking it, big drinker. You know, I'm sure we all Wisconsin. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what you do.
Yeah.
you grew up around it, and then you know decisions with whether it's relationships or like I said, even like your diet, which turns into how your appearance is and how you feel about yourself. It was all just so bad. But the having something for myself, like exercise, really like helps steer all the rest of those things the right way. I'm not like bone sober person. Which in time it'll probably end up being that way because this is the direction that it's going. But drink is not as important as before because I got something else that fills that space, you know. What else I was saying? Oh yeah, the food. It's all connected for me. But
It
doing
is.
that, my career, my work, and everything else.
It is. I would say that that's such a huge part of us, like doing therapy with people, is people are come to us, clients come to us and they're like, oh, I just don't feel good and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like our base, like our bare min of starting point is like, well, do you drink water? Like, what do you eat? Like, do you move your body? Like, what do you do?
Are
like
you sleeping?
Yeah. Like, are you sleeping? And it's not even like, okay, are you getting your 8 hours? Like, are you doing CrossFit or like powerlifting? Like, are you eating just broccoli and chicken and rice? Like, it's not this like strict thing, but it's like, have you had water today? Like, have you stretched like in the past week? Like, what have you done for yourself to honor your body? And I'm not saying you have to do that to look a certain way, but it's just to honor, like, your body carries your soul, and your soul's purpose is what you need to find. Like, you have to take care of the vessel that is your purpose. Like, it's just mind blowing to me that people are like, yeah, I've had like 16 ounces of water today. I feel really good about it. And I'm like, how are you not cramping immediately?
Right.
Like right now, how are you not just seizing up?
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm thankful to have that. And it's not like I didn't know that this was going to be important for me. Like, for example, like my pops, pops in the military, he was a Marine. So discipline and things like that was the importance of it was taught to me early. But you know, once you stray away, I got kids of my own, I live my own life. You not forget, but
it goes on the back burner.
Yeah, for sure. It's on the back burner now. And then now, as you get older, all the things that a lot of things that your parents tell you, or you know, things you learn early on, it's like, oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
You know, it makes my fucking brain keep working.
Yeah. And as much as I don't want to call Richard H and say, you know, you were right about this, every once in a while I give my dad that like little piece of hope where I'm like, okay, you were right.
Legitly, yeah. Discipline is love is something you used to say. That's an old, I don't know, I guess they said that in the Corps or whatever. But now as I'm getting older, like keeping my physical, you know, on a discipline, and then it's even being more organized with my work. I'm an artist. I just naturally have a whole bunch of shit going around because that's how my brain works, like a bee's nest. I mean, but taking some time to organize things, like it's a lot better now. You know, it makes everything else in your life easier having just a little bit of discipline behind it.
Do you ever struggle? So my son loves to draw. Like he's, in my eyes, ridiculously good at drawing. He's like a natural artist. I don't know where the fuck it came from, but it's great. But he's his own worst critic. He will look at something and think it's terrible. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, are you your own worst critic, or have you gotten past that and now it's just about confidence?
Nah, hell yeah. Like I still am. I'm still my worst critic. So that's why shit, if somebody tell me they don't like my shit, I'm like, you can't make more than me, bro. But,
as a silent tear rolls down your cheek, you're like, no, it's fine, it's cool. Yeah, I thought it was shit too. Like, ooh.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always have been. And even now, like I'll see old drawings and stuff. Or like my grandparents just reminded me, I used to draw on the floor, like pad and paper and like draw on the
Yeah.
ground. And they were telling me how much I used to do that. And I remember like, man, like trying to remember the stuff that I thought about. You know, you a kid, creativity is just like,
Yeah.
it's just there. You ain't got to think
Through
that
the
hard.
roof. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to tap back into that, you know. So basically, like where my mind went back then, if I couldn't create the exact thing that I was thinking, then I just like crumble it up and throw it away.
That's
And where I am now, yeah. So where I am now, like man, I wish I had those drawings. Like no matter what it would look like, I would be so happy to see where my mind was. So yeah, when it comes to creating now, I'm not as hard on myself. I feel like with my paintings, it goes back to being like comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Like I know it's not gonna look like what I saw in my head,
Mhm.
but I'm aware that I can only create up to like 75% of a thing, and the
Okay.
other 25% is gonna be from wherever else creativity comes from. You know what I mean? You got to let the other shit in. You can't control it. You know.
Absolutely. And being able to just give up that control 100%.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
art is your career, do you ever draw for fun just for you?
I literally have to make time for it, and it's so hard. Like it's that is a tough thing because
Yeah,
going back to being a kid drawing, like you just drew because you felt like it. You know?
exactly.
But I don't get a whole lot of time just to create on my own, and also I can't say I don't get a whole lot of time because on the other half of it is when I do have time, I get to doing something, and because I print shirts, because I make clothes, because I tattoo and do murals and do paintings, it's like I'm always like, oh, well, this could be for this, or this could be for that, and I start
Sure.
monetizing it, and then it's taking the
Mhm.
creativity away from the thing
Yeah.
when I be enjoying being in the present and creating.
It is so hard to do because I think about that too. Like when like we look at social media and we just like look at things, I'm like, oh, we could use this as a reel, or oh, we could do this for the business. Oh, we could do this. It's so
Yeah.
hard to take a step back from that. And then I try to remind myself of the things that feel good to me of like, okay, well, working out is for me. Okay, reading is for me. Okay,
Mhm.
like, doing my little habit trackers is for me. My goals and gratitudes is for me. So if I'm not necessarily doing the things that I super loved as a kid, at least I can call gratitude to the different small things that I've done to be able to say like, okay, I am still showing up for me, because it is hard to shut that part of your brain off when you're an entrepreneur and being able to be like, okay, how can I get myself out there? How can I make it bigger? And it's so hard to not continuously move that goalpost of like, okay, I did this, now I got to do this. I did this, now I got to do that.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Word. And that it goes back to the balance thing for me is everything can't be for the tattoo shop and everything can't be for Root City.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have when I'm not there, it's really a 24-hour job,
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. So
Yeah.
when I'm not there, I have to be still trying to pull like inspiration or references or whatever little things. I still got inventory to do at the store,
Mhm.
ordering more of this for the shop. All these things always swirling around. So yeah, that's one thing that I am currently working on is making more time to just create what I like.
Good.
What does your son like to draw?
So he currently is obsessed with anime. He
Mhm.
loves anime. He also loves Godzilla. He loves
Mhm.
dinosaurs. He likes to draw anything. He'll follow like he'll watch like a YouTube tutorial and just kind of draw along. He's like, but I followed a tutorial. I said, I could follow the same shit and it's not gonna look like that, dude. Like it doesn't matter. You
It's gonna be
still
a stick
have
figure.
talent.
It's gonna be a stick
Right.
figure.
Yesterday he was looking at one of his anime books and just drew like a Goku, and I was like, how do you do that? Like I just my brain doesn't work. I'm
No.
like super OCD. He's super creative, so he's always like shit is everywhere, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how can we make this work?
Pick it
Because
up.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But it's just how his brain works. He just I don't know, he loves it, and I wanted to find like I don't know, an art club or something, but he just if he could draw all day, he would.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
my hope.
trying to get back to where he is now.
Right?
Yeah. No, I think that is wild that Steph and I have, she has a boy and I have a girl, and they mirror each other pretty
Mhm.
pretty well. Like Soph loves to draw and she'll ask me to draw with her. And I get like imposter syndrome because I'm like, I'm not creative in that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm creative, but not in that way.
Mhm.
So it'll be a stick figure. Like, and my dumbass bought her a Mom and Me book of like where each of us had to like draw different things.
Bitch.
I have avoided that book like the plague. I'm like, no, I'm so tired today. Like I can't do it. Like
one day he's like, Mom, can you draw like some flames right here? I'm like,
No.
sure. Because he's asked me to do it before and he's like, oh, it looks so good. This last time he was like, no, that's not what I was asking you to do. And I was like, then fucking draw it yourself. Don't ask me to do it for you.
No, I literally no. So will ask me and I'll be like, it's just gonna be what it is, okay? Because you got the talent from your dad, not me. Okay, so back up. Okay, I'm emotions and your dad is not. Okay, so we're like, let's respect the differences.
He also like he gets shit at school though too, because he'll bring a drawing in or he'll draw at school and the kids will be like, my dad can do it better than that, or like, well, you didn't draw that. And I'm like, you're gonna like have people who talk shit because they wish that they could draw like you. It's just part of it. Like it sucks, but I'm trying to build up his confidence and like, do you think that it's good? That's all that fucking matters, dude. It doesn't matter what this person over here says. But
that's super dope. I'm glad to hear that he's drawing from the things that he's interested in, like animate for myself. That's always been a big thing for me. Cartoons and shit growing up, it was everything. Am I wearing my I am wearing my hat. So this design I did is actually, it's called Anime Bay.
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
A girl that likes anime or whatever. But it's a flip on an old tattoo design, like the crying woman. But anyway, my kids love anime. I always loved anime. But growing up, like it wasn't the cool thing, especially in the Black community. Like
exactly.
I couldn't just be like, oh, what you doing? Watching Sailor Moon. Like,
they were like, boy, if you don't, and you were like, I'm shutting the TV off right now. It's fine. Like, I'll do it.
Sailor Moon. Yeah, look at that go. It didn't go well. So I had to hide a lot of these things, you know what I mean? Like the interests and stuff. And drawing was my way of whatever's going on in my mind, I could do it here and express it. And nobody needs to know what I'm thinking or drawing, you know. So I'm happy that kids can be into so many more things like anime. It's not weird, you know. But also at the same time, the kids talking shit when I was younger built a certain resistance in me that kind of going back to resistance about the working out and stuff. And I'm sure like how your kid is dealing with kids talking shit to him is going to build, you know, some resistance and toughness in him. He can be like, man, fuck y'all.
Well, and I was just going to say, like, I feel like the way that us as parents are handling it different than what our kids did, what our parents did, because my parents were too busy working, so I really don't feel like I ever had the chance to be like, oh, this is going on. Like, and I like flew under the radar. Being a Gemini, I was like a chameleon. I could make friends with like pretty much everybody and just kind of be okay under the radar. But my daughter came to me and she was saying that some kid was like, well, the shoes that your mom bought you, those are fucked up. And I was like, you tell him to shut his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Period. Like, and she was like, Mom, I can't say that. And I was like, people talk shit because they don't feel good about themselves and they want you to feel as icky as they feel inside. And you don't need to. So here's the thing. Your shoes are wonderful. And I try not to do this to her, but I'm like, you should be happy because I got new shoes once a fucking year. Same. And if they didn't fucking fit, you were shit out of luck. Like those were your volleyball shoes. Those were your exciting shoes. Those were your dance shoes. Like that was it. Like those shoes were the shoes. And I'm over here trying to provide you with these other shoes. Fuck that kid. Fuck him and his parents. Like,
yeah.
I was like, you have full permission to cuss a kid out right now. And she's like, I can't, because she doesn't even say shut up, but I'm like, cuss his ass out, do it.
Right. Hey, same way over here, because these kids is rough. Like I said, my kids go to school in Milwaukee, but I got split custody, so they're here half the time, then they're half the time. And you know how crazy Milwaukee is right now.
I can't even imagine.
Man, you got Kia boys and motherfuckers stealing cars and shit and shooting all this stuff all the time. So yeah, I kind of teach them like you can be rough, be good, be you know what I'm saying, be loving and kind, but you gotta know how to talk that shit when it's time to.
Don't take no shit.
Like I want my son to be empathetic and compassionate, but you're not gonna fucking take shit from nobody either. Like you're not gonna let some kid talk like you're a piece of shit. We're not doing that.
Exactly. Hey, you had mentioned something else. I don't forgot already. My bad. I was
That's
gonna bring it up.
okay. That's literally me in all of our recordings, D. I'm like, I had a point and it's gone. And I told her before we started recording, before we even got on, I was like, I didn't take a second half pill of my ADHD meds today. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to be concise and to have good questions, but I'm really struggling. And she was like, it's fine, Mari. So we're used to it. It's okay.
Y'all got a great balance, I can tell.
We really do.
We're like yin and yang. We really are.
All darkness, and this one over here is the motherfucking sun.
Rainbows, kittens, sparkles, excitement, happiness, and stuff's like horror, like blah. And I'm like, I can't watch that. Now I'll have nightmares and I won't sleep. So unless you're gonna stay on the phone with me, we're not doing that.
Is that the May and June Gemini? Because I'm like y'all is like I got that in me.
You and you, yes. No, so I would like to think that the June Geminis tend to be what's a nice way to put this? I think like when they talk about Geminis being bipolar and having these extreme opposites, I have come to find that happens a lot in June Geminis. Like I definitely have different sides of me, but it's well, like these and I wouldn't say different sides. I would say that there's two separate sides where there's this one part of me that loves to be like around people and be out and be you like just not center of attention, but be like an extrovert, right? And then there's the other part of me where I'm like, man, I really need to recharge. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be and rest and do whatever. But the other part is like, well, you can't rest, go on. So like there's that dynamic. But I think like June Geminis definitely have that like good versus evil moments where it's real. But we also like your sun sign is not just necessarily
what is your moon and rising though?
I have to figure that. I feel like I'm Aries and Cancer, I think.
Okay.
I think, which makes sense because sometimes God of War really does come out in moments. And then Cancer, like free flowing, like excitement, bubbly, like wanting to be around people. I'm almost positive it's that, but your sun and moon, and your rising, all of those play a part in you because Steph is a Pisces and there are moments where she is a Pisces, but absolutely moments where she shows up Scorpio, like through and through. So it all depends. So if you have not done your birth chart, you absolutely should. It is so fascinating. You just need your time of birth, your place of birth. And if you don't want to do it, send it to us. We'll do it for you. I love doing them. They're my favorite. You're my favorite. Ask your mom when you were born. She warned you about us.
Yeah. Every time a young lady asks me, so do you know what time you were born?
No. No.
I'm not single anymore.
Yeah. I do not have a birth certificate. Actually, I burned it. So I could not answer this question anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's all very interesting. Like I said, I like to learn stuff. That's all new to me. I know a little bit about the astrology world, but when it comes like the sun rising and the moon thing, that's where I get lost. So
I would definitely take that journey. Do it yourself. Ask your mom for yourself, or if you know for yourself, go just all you got to do is Google. You'll find a super easy one to do either the pattern or CoStar, or even being able to I think it would like natal chart.
If you just Google free birth chart, Cafe Astrology is like the first one that comes up. It's super easy. And it explains to you each and every aspect of your birth chart. It's overwhelming. It's a lot of information. I would just take it really slow at first and just gather what you want. Because here's the thing. Yes, I'm a Pisces, but do I subscribe to every aspect of being a Pisces?
No.
Fucking A, no, I do not.
Right? And same with Gemini. Like, I don't feel like I'm two-faced. I feel like I'm very open and honest with people, but I definitely feel like there are two parts of me, but I show those parts to people. But so, yeah, so like, just do that. And I feel like, yeah, it's super interesting to just see what resonates with you.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I'd be interested to know too. So just let us know what what they are. Because I love learning these about people. It's my favorite thing to do for people. Even clients, I'm like, so like, do you like astrology? And some are like, oh, and I'm like, okay, we'll just file that away. And then some are like, oh my God, yeah. And I'm like, let's figure it out right now. Like, So it's interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, thank you, Dee, so much, so much for doing this with us, for being able to be on, to be open, to be vulnerable, and to just like have a space where people can learn from you and learn about you. So please let us know where people can find you on social handles.
So I got a website. It's not for tattooing, it's more for the merchandise. It'll be deehutch.com. I'll have prints and shirts and things, and they kind of cycle out as I create new things. But that's for that. On Instagram is D_Hutch. That's all the pretty much strictly tattooing stuff. Other page is Art by Dee Hutch. That's all paintings and things like that. I'm be honest with you, I'm not on that one as much. I'm not going to do both. Like it's
That's
tough.
a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah. Just Dee Hutch on Facebook. Oh, and D is DEE Hutch, HUTC. I say that. And then yeah, the tattoo shop is called Black Hand Tattoo Gallery. It's located in downtown Racine, 406 Main Street. And then our clothing store is called Root City, ROOT City. It's 345 Main Street, also downtown Racine.
Awesome. I'll put all that in the show notes too.
And you can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. And you can email at rewritingherstorypodcast@gmail.com. Any questions, concerns, comments that you may have, we would love to answer them. Like, share, subscribe. We would love all the things. You can find Steph at The Spooky Therapist on Instagram, and you can find me at BEA_XO11. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing it. BEA_XO11 on Instagram. So thank you so much for your time, Dee. We really appreciate it.
This was super dope. If y'all ever need me to come on again, need a June Gemini to come on and talk some shit.
We do.
Awesome.
We do. And we're gonna unpack your birth chart when you come back on. Period. That's what it is.
I'll do some research, and then we'll be all squared away.
Awesome. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. Until next
Thank
time,
you.
guys.
Bye.